The cost of living in Japan has taken on a new dimension in 2022, with prices here and around the globe continuing to rise on the back of tight fuel supplies, raw material and other shortages caused by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. More recently, a weakening Japanese yen has also taken its toll on the cost of living in Japan. Manufacturers here are having to hike their prices in order to compensate for the increase in import costs. In this video, we'll take a look at how all of this is affecting the cost of living in Japan, a country which, let's face it, already had something of a reputation for being a bit pricey. Make sure you stick around to the end where I'll reveal my own monthly living costs. And as always, if you find this video useful, be sure to give it a like, share it. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the City Cost Japan YouTube channel. It means a lot to us. Click on that bell for notifications as well so that you don't miss when our next video drops. All right, let's get into this. Last month, we learned that core consumer prices in Japan rose 2.4% in July from a year earlier. That's the sharpest increase in around 7.5 years. Price increases for some of the essentials included the following: electricity, that's up 19.9%, gas, up 18.6%, food, excluding fresh items which tend to be volatile, up 3.7%. On the other hand, prices for essentials like transportation, domestic, rent and hygiene products appear to have escaped significant increases. We'll talk more about airfares and fuel surcharges later if we dare. Of course, these percentages don't mean a great deal unless you know how much things cost in the first place. Let's look at the average cost of living for a one-person household in Japan in 2021, according to government data. Utilities, 11,383 yen per month. Electricity, 5,482 yen per month. Gas, 3,001 yen. Water and sewage, 2,248 yen. And then other, 651 yen per month. Food totaled in at 38,410 yen per month. So, if we take all of this at face value, then we may have seen the following increases to our cost of living this year. Electricity up 19.9% from 5,482 yen to 6,573 yen per month. Gas up 18.6% from 3,001 yen to 3,559 yen per month. Water and sewage down 0.3% from 2,248 yen to 2,241 yen per month. Overall then, utilities have gone up 14.7% from 11,383 yen to 13,056 yen per month. Food is up 3.4% from 38,410 yen to 39,716 yen per month. To round things out a bit, according to the same government data, the total monthly cost of living in Japan in 2021 for a person living alone, including housing, utilities, food, transportation, leisure, phones, all that sort of stuff, came to an average of 155,046 yen a month. However, this same data set also had 22,116 yen a month on housing. Now, this of course will seem a little bit absurd, especially if we look at this from the point of view of living in our own apartment. 20,000 yen a month in Japan won't get you a shoebox in the middle of nowhere. But this figure also included accommodation options like dormitories and renting on the cheap from family members. More realistic at the cheaper end would be something around 50,000 yen per month in rent as an average across Japan. So if we add then an extra 30,000 yen to our total monthly cost of living, we come to around 185,000 yen per month in 2021. So going back to the start and applying that consumer price rise of 2.4%, and our cost of living in 2022 could be around 189,440 yen per month. That's an increase of over 4,000 yen a month. Other price increases that stand out that could add to your cost of living in Japan at this time: cell phones. They've gone up 14.7%. Currently in Japan, an iPhone 13 costs from around 160,000 yen. Instant coffee, that's gone up 10.7%. We recently paid around 480 yen for a 140 gram cheap brand bag of instant coffee. Gasoline, that's up 8.3%. Currently, it's around 160, 170 yen per litre, with government subsidies being used to curb price increases. Toilet paper, that's up 5.1%. At the cheaper end of things, I think in Japan you can get maybe 12 rolls for something like 300 yen. School textbooks, they've gone up 4.6%. There's probably too wide a price range here to give any example that could be useful. In terms of entertainment, entrance to theme parks has gone up 3.7%. A one-day passport for adults at Tokyo Disneyland is between 8,400 and 9,400 yen. I remember a time when it was around 6,000 yen. Prior to October 2021, the highest price had been 8,700 yen. A one-day studio pass for an adult at Universal Studios Japan is currently 8,400 yen. A trip to the movie theatre is up 0.9%. There are so many variables when it comes to ticket prices in Japan, but in general, an adult might expect to pay just under 2,000 yen these days. Undoubtedly, one of the big movers and shakers among the price hikes in 2022 has been airfares, particularly on the international routes. I went back home to the UK in April and May this year, and in the past, that ticket would have cost me maybe up to 150,000 yen for a direct flight from Tokyo to London and back. This time around, it cost me over 230,000 yen. Now, according to the government data that we've been looking at in this video, fares are up 7.8%, and that's just for the seat or whatever. Fuel surcharges have obviously skyrocketed. According to the IATA's jet fuel price monitor, global jet fuel prices are up just over 100% from a year ago. Add to this then a weak Japanese yen, and you have the news that Japan's main carriers are going to be increasing their fuel surcharges over autumn. Of course, for some of you watching this, before we can even talk about flights to and from Japan, we're still waiting and wondering as to exactly when it is that Japan will fully open its borders. Now, it's easier for the media and other organizations to create a kind of doomsday scenario around these price increases, but the reality isn't always going to be so clear. There are so many variables in play with this sort of thing that it's really hard for us to be definitive about it. No doubt some people are going to be really hard hit by these increases. On the other hand, there may be some people that barely even notice them. So to give you a sense of things as they are on the ground here in Japan, let's take a look at my own monthly living costs this year. Actually, there are two of us, my partner and I, living in an apartment in the Kanto suburbs, somewhere near Tokyo. These were some of our expenses for July this year, and remember, this is between two of us. Food, including eating out, 40,000 yen. Toiletries, 4,000 yen. Electricity, 4,000 yen, but that can go up to 10,000 yen, say in winter when we really blast the aircon. Water and sewage, 4,600 yen. Gas, 1,700 yen. The internet and landline phone, 5,000 yen. That always stays the same. So add all that up and divide it by 2 and we get 29,650 yen. Let's add my cell phone plan to that, around about 7,800 yen per month, and we get 37,450 yen. Looking back at this time last year, and actually we can't see that much change. The food bill was around 40,000 yen, toiletries 3,000 yen, electricity 3,000 yen, water 5,000 yen, that's higher than this year, and gas 2,000 yen. Well, actually gas tends to remain fairly stable for us, somewhere around 2,000 to 3,000 yen a month. Where we might have been able to keep things stable is by cutting back on purchases, eating out less, something that's been easy to do in light of the coronavirus, buying cheaper brands, this sort of thing. And of course, this summer, the government has been urging people to cut back on their use of air conditioning and other household appliances in an attempt to cut back on electricity usage. I think we've been doing this, and it's then perhaps another reason why our monthly cost of living hasn't changed a great deal. More price hikes on consumer goods are expected though, particularly over autumn. We've got an article about this on City Cost. Make sure you check that out. We'll leave a link to it in the description below this video. Watch this space for tips on how you can save money in Japan and keep your cost of living down. Also, please let us know in the comments below how these price hikes and the weakening Japanese yen are affecting your cost of living in Japan right now. Once again, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a click on that thumbs up mark, subscribe to the channel, click on the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.